hate to belabor a point, but this...
You are obsessed with him.
Oof. He just turned 60 this past Sunday. And a little thing in TMZ this morning that he's been celibate for 9 years.
Have that body.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I'm on
a spiritual journey. To what end? He's living out there on the island. You know, he's preacher curling logs. And celibate for 9 years. Good Christ. Why are you hiding that light under a bushel basket? Why are you wasting your life?
Go break
Lenny?
your celibacy.
No, I'm not a gay man. I'm not a gay man. If I looked like Lenny Kravitz, he's probably one of these guys that thinks that all of his creative power is in his jizz. And it's like, calm down.
But it's not
You're
like he's putting
gonna
out
be
music.
Fine, huh?
It's not like he's been putting out a ton of music or
Well,
anything.
he still puts stuff out, I think. But he said that after his marriage to Lisa Bonet fell apart in 1991, you remember he's Zoe Kravitz's dad.
Mm-hmm.
After that marriage fell apart 30 years ago, he said that he was really acting like a player after that. Mm-hmm. And he wasn't fond of that lifestyle. But that's what happens to every divorced guy, right? It's like you, with all due respect, it's like you got that just out of prison energy. And you get out there and you're seeing what's up. And if you look like Lenny Kravitz, it doesn't matter if you're 30 or 60. Because there isn't a woman out there who wouldn't be like, yes. Because he is in like unearthly good shape. And so, because he's just living out there on the island. And he's chopping melons with a machete and eating them. So he has had a 9-year streak of celibacy. He said, I'm very set in my ways, the way I live. And it's a spiritual thing. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. You will see videos of him working out, by the way, which are really funny because if it were anyone else, you'd go, bro. You know, like he's got the fake, like, plastic bumper plates on there or whatever. He's working out in, leather pants and, posting stuff for the gram. But he's in such unbelievable shape that you let it go because you're like, all right, clearly he's doing he's doing all the work he needs to do to look the way he looks. But, he was engaged, you might recall, to Nicole Kidman back in the day. He was engaged to Adriana Lima. Remember her?
Mm-hmm.
Victoria's Secret angel with wild eyes. He dated Johnny Depp's ex, that French girl. So he was making his way through. But what is the point of doing all that work? You could stay in good shape.
For himself.
Oh, come on.
I mean, he's clearly not, if he's not having sex, then it's because he likes the way he looks and feels like that.
Well, he should. He's putting in the work. I mean, all due respect to him. He's absolutely putting in the work. My comments are 1,000% born of jealousy. But, I mean, Lenny, time waits for no one. If you told anybody else, if you saw on paper, this is a great guy I want you to meet, what does he do? He's in music. What's his name? Leonard Kravitz. Oh, so he's an executive. No. No, he's an artist. He lives out in the Bahamas. Really? So I think part of it is like his dad cheated on his mom. His mom was Roxy Roker, who, if you're old enough, you remember, she was on The Jeffersons. She was the neighbor on The Jeffersons. That was Lenny Kravitz's mom, and his dad was Cy Kravitz, who was a bigwig at NBC. So he's a Nepo baby. He comes from a showbiz family. 9 years. He's like the Doogie of rock and roll. Right? Doesn't she famously never get laid? I mean, when I've talked to her, I'm like, anything?
It's been a while.
In the immortal words of one Aaron Lewis. So good for this guy, boy. I just don't know what he's wasting it for. At the very least, you could have scantily clad gals out to your mud hut to grate cheese on your stomach.
But why?
Why
You're not
not?
interested. You're not interested.
Clearly he's not. Of course he's not. Just trying to get my head around it. Making yourself look good. That's why everybody works out. So you feel better. Looking better comes with that. You know, it's one of the rare things in life where both things are good for you. And 9 years. Or he could be lying. There is a chance he might not be telling the truth.
But why, though? Why make that up?
Because it's a good story.
Is it?
Well, it kind of fits into his, like, ooh, kind of, you know what I mean? He's kind of got that vibe, that hippie thing going on. And maybe it sounds good because you know what happens? And Bill will tell you this. He knows. You put the word out there into the ether that you've been celibate for 9 years and you look like he does. What happens? Everybody wants to be the one to break the streak.
Yeah.
Oh, everybody wants to be the one to break the streak. So it's pretty canny on his part, if in fact it's all made up. I've never met the man. I've never interviewed him. I don't think. Ever met Lenny Kravitz? I don't think so. But sure like the cut of his jib. You know, I've said this before, I have no concept of retirement. You know, in this business, you're told when you're done. And I don't know how to do anything else. So I don't have any concept of that. But going to an island and just doing sit-ups and eating melon, that to me is not an environment in which I would want to be having zero sex.
You're on different wavelengths, man.
Must be, man. Truly
But
different
you also have a
wavelengths.
wife that you want to sleep with all the time.
True.
He doesn't.
I don't know what he's got. Maybe
But he
he's
doesn't
got
have a wife.
Maybe he's
I
got
mean,
a. Does celibate involve no sex or no sex with another person?
I
think
don't
no
know.
sex with another person.
So he could have a real doll.
Yeah, I think that's just masturbation.
I bet he could afford one. You think he could afford a real
You
doll?
get the best one. You get a real good one. You can get one with the parts that move and stuff.
Yes, he'd get one with the 32 eyes.
That's dishwasher safe. Everything you need.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, they're all dishwasher safe.
Well, you get the one that probably has a self-cleaning.
You got to put him in the top rack, though. Don't put him in the bottom rack.
No, you'll melt it.
Yeah. You get like a weird, you'll end up with the misshapen lips. You don't want that. If you listen to us on iHeartRadio, tell me where. We're always hearing from new bureau chiefs who are living out of state. We heard from Laura. She spends her time in Madison, Florida, and Valdosta, Georgia. Bob listens in Astoria, Oregon.
Oh.
That sounds familiar, Astoria.
That's where the Goonies takes place.
Is it really?
Yeah.
In Astoria, Queens?
No, Astoria,
Oregon.
Oregon.
Kidding.
Oregon.
Matt listens in Frederick, Maryland, and I bet knows how to spell Pennsylvania.
I don't know about that.
Oh. Max is in Raleigh. You can leave messages.
Alan, if you actually want to know everything you possibly can, then stop calling Bill's car a muscle car. We gave you the knowledge that's not a muscle car, so use that knowledge and apply it. Later!
How is your muscle car, by the way, Bill? It is a muscle car. How is it? I recorded Bill leaving the parking garage last night.
Wow, sounds good.
And he was headed to the funny bus. This thing, man, I'll tell you what. Wow, it is as advertised.
That was actually me doing those donuts underneath the chandelier.
I didn't want to blow up his spot. That was his girlfriend's niece tending to the fire there underneath the chandelier. A little pyro, that one. Keep an eye on her. So that's a little bit of, I don't know what that guy is talking about, but Bill is behind the wheel of a mean machine. They ever do a Hardcastle and McCormick reboot, that could be you right in there.
You and these references today.
Dude, they are out of control.
What?
I don't think I've understood a single thing you've said.
Well, that's on you. That ain't on me. You got to get on my wavelength, baby.
I'm just saying.
What have I said that you didn't understand?
Whatever you just said, Muskrat Tommy, or whatever the hell that
Muskrat
song was.
Love.
Muskrat Love.
Yeah. Hardcastle and McCormick.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, two things.
I mean, we've only been on air for 2 hours.
Yeah. That's one thing an hour. I'm doing pretty well.
I mean,
usually
that's half
nobody
the
understands what
segments.
I'm talking about. What's
That's
that?
half the segments.
Alan, I've been celibate for hundreds of minutes.
Yeah.
That's a nice soft brag right there.
Isn't it? Yeah. Alan, you clearly want to eat Lenny Kravitz's beehole.
That's true.
No,
You
I
got a
don't.
thing- you
I'm
got a
not
thing for
gay
him,
for
brother?
Lenny Kravitz.
You're a little gay. You're a little gay.
I'm
for
not.
Lenny. You are 10% gay for Lenny Kravitz.
I'm not.
He is the only.
If he said, let's go over here and make out, I would say, no, thank you. But
He
I can
is-
look at a dude and go, man, that's amazing. The work he's put in,
But he
that's
is the only
it's impressive.
male celebrity that you talk about like this. No
Well, he's the only
other
one-
male celebrity.
He's
do
the
talk
only
about like
one
this.
even remotely close to my age who looks like that.
That's
Brad
not
Pitt
true at
looks
all.
like that.
I'll be 53 next month.
What day?
I don't know. Who cares? I celebrated all month, Bill. I have
Oh,
a
you're one of
birthday
those.
month.
You're one
Yep.
of those, huh?
Um,
So technically, you mentioned your birthday in
No,
that case.
you
If
mentioned it.
No.
Lenny
you did.
Kravitz is
Terry
7.
Crews is your age.
Who?
And he is Terry Crews, and he is shredded.
But that's like a bodybuilder body.
So?
I'm talking about that's a lot easier to get than super shredded like Lenny Kravitz is.
What about Jason?
It's
Jason
easier
Statham?
to get jacked than shredded. And Lenny Kravitz, for a guy living on an island, I'm impressed to the nth degree with the guy. It would be great to be 60 and look like that, yes, because that's straight ahead of me.
And
Why
go
do you think
live
I'm
on
trying
an
to lock
island.
it all down now? What?
Go live on an island and get shredded.
Well, that's the plan. I don't know. Alan, don't listen to Mary. She eats her own boogers. Listen, you can't keep throwing that in her face.
Everybody just relax.
You can't do that.
Better than eating somebody else's boogers.
Is it? Does it matter where they came
It's
from?
better to eat your own boogers than eat someone else's boogers.
I
stand
mean,
by
I
that.
would
That's-
probably agree, but I think if that's when you get to that is the argument you're making, you're way past. Talk about a reference I don't get.
You get the reference. You know what I mean. It's not something you do.
Alan, Kindergarten Cop and Short Circuit also took place in Astoria, Oregon.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess I just watched Kindergarten Cop earlier this year, or late last year.
What a great movie.
It is a great movie.
It holds up.
It does. It's crazy because you wouldn't think Arnold Schwarzenegger, this big, burly cop, would be able to handle kids.
No.
Because it's just not his world.
No. He's a
He's got
fish
a
out of
kid.
water.
You don't hear anything about his kid. The wife moved away. He's a terrible dad.
Yeah.
That's overlooked a lot in that movie. But he's got to catch his bad guy.
He's got to get.
And he's got to do what he's got to do. So he ends up teaching these kids. And you know what? Those kids teach him a lot, too.
They sure do.
No
he learns a
way.
little something about
No
himself.
way. That's never happened.
Are these all your lunches? You mean you eat other people's lunches? Stop it! Now we're going to do something extremely fun. We're going to play a wonderful game called Who is My Daddy and What Does He Do? Yes?
Is your daddy a fireman? He's probably big. Is he a wrestler? Is he a basketball coach?
No.
What's the matter?
I have a headache.
It might be a tumor.
It's not a tumor.
Who is my daddy and what does he do? It's not a tumor. Alan, you saw the press release that Jim Donovan is retiring from Channel 3 in a couple of weeks. You should replace him. I don't know sports. Isn't he the sports guy?
Yeah, he's a sports guy.
You could know sports. You just don't try.
Yeah, you want to learn
You don't
everything?
apply
Learn them
yourself.
sports.
Yeah, you,
You
don't
got a
apply
few
yourself.
weeks.
Fine, you got me. That's not the area of expertise I'm looking to hone.
Well,
Although this
fine.
is also a market where they just throw people behind the anchor desk too, right? Like they have sports guys doing the news and stuff. Yeah, I could do that. I've filled
I mean,
in
it's all you just read
behind
the
the
teleprompter.
Right. Well, there's an art to that though too,
Mhm.
really.
But you can do that.
Yeah.
You're good at that.
Jim Donovan stepping down. Well, he was ill.
I think
yeah?
he should be
I mean,
replaced by Don Jimovin.
Don Jimovin. Yeah, they're bringing him in from checks notes. Astoria, Oregon.
Oh,
yeah.
We were just talking about that.
West Coast
Crazy.
NBC affiliate.
You know that Kindergarten Cop was filmed there?
Yeah. And Short Circuit.
Oh.
And Goonies.
Number 5 is Alive.
A terrible movie.
Goonies is a great movie.
Goonies stinks. After 39 years at WKYC Channel 3, Jim Donovan will be retiring. Boy, good for him.
Yep.
Is he from here?
I mean, I don't know, but he's been here for so long.
Yeah. I guess you're kind of grandfathered in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jim Donovan.
Oh, good for him. Yeah, but he fell ill too, right? A couple years ago.
Well, he's been battling cancer.
Okay.
Past few years.
Well, I guess that's when you start thinking about it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You're like, yeah. Jim Donovan, not the investment banker.
Why not? What do you got against him?
While he's stepping away from daily television work, he will continue to serve as the radio play-by-play announcer for your Cleveland Browns. Oh, there you go. That's all anybody wants to have in broadcasting is an illustrious career, right? Yeah. You want to be regarded as somebody who knew how to do it and did it and then decided to stop doing it.
So eloquently put.
He is from Boston.
Okay.
Yep. Went to Boston University and then kind of made the rounds. Those are the stories I like to hear about people in broadcasting. People who've made the rounds. They've worked in different markets. And,
well, but he's been in Cleveland for 39 years.
St. Cloud, Minnesota, Vermont. Yeah, you bounce around early on, and then you get somewhere where you want to, they make it worth
the right gig, and you say, hey,
they make it worth your while to stay.
Yeah.
Chubba Wubba Hub, they said, is one of his signature calls for Nick Chubb. I've got a clip of him doing that.
Nick Chubb! Hasta la vista, baby! Nick Chubb! Touchdown!
Isn't that him?
No, that
Jaime Donovan?
That is not.
Oh.
That is not Jim Donovan.
Anyway, Mazel Tov to Jim Donovan. Never met the man, but you never heard, at least as far as I was concerned, in my conversations with people in local media, you never heard
a bad thing
about him. Yep.
Ultimate pro. And great at the play-by-play, which is not easy to do, especially in football because the alignments are so complicated, and he does such a good job with that. So I'm glad he's still doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, so scared, Chubby Wubby.
Is that one of his calls?
It's close. It's closer.
Well, good. All right. Well, no, I can't. Here's one of his interviews.
Cleveland is perceived to be the butthole of the world sometime, right?
I'm sorry?
That's our mayor.
Former
Was our
mayor.
mayor.
Former mayor, Mary.
Sorry,
The
guys.
current mayor is the guy who stands on rooftops at 2:30 in the morning and watches people do donuts or on fire and does nothing.
Not a thing.
Not a thing. Where's the mayor when this is happening?
He allows it.
Probably getting a good night's sleep so that he can wake up refreshed and try to fix all the things you're complaining about. How about that? Yeah. I said it.
Good one.
Hey, thanks. Nailed it. Mary, that's called speaking truth to power, all
I know
right?
what you did. I know
Maybe
what you
you've
did.
heard of it.
I have.
Maybe you've heard of it.
I've learned firsthand from you. The king.
Alan, one of the biggest lines in Kindergarten Cop was boys have a penis, girls have a vagina. That would be an offensive phrase these days. Yeah, if they rebooted Kindergarten Cop, could they still use that phrase?
Probably not.
The little kid goes, boys have penis, girls have vaginas. And he goes, thanks for the tip.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Donovan should coach the Cavaliers.
It'd be
Yeah, I think he wants to take a step back, not throw
he doesn't
himself
want, He doesn't want
into.
to do more.
Right. All right. I'm going to break. I will have, if you want to see the band, Nothing More. These guys are pretty wild. And you never know when they're going to be on the road again, because sometimes tours don't go their way. So they'll be here in September to play the Agora If you dig them, I'll have tickets for you after the break. 35192 to text me for anything else.
It's the Alan Cox Show. Everywhere on our free iHeartRadio app or whatever smart